Yeah, so Dr. Shetlin, and just glad to be here. I love what we're going to do today. We're just going to talk about public speaking. And, well, let's give Amber another round. She did a great job. And I'm going to point out a couple of really good, I'm going to put you on the spot today. Actually, you did great, and this is going to work out really well. Because when we're doing public speaking, and I'm hoping that this will be helpful for us here in this BNI as well as when you go out and public speak in other areas. So what I want to talk about today is public speaking. And I want to go through some of the basic things that we can do to help ourselves prepare for public speaking, some of the black belt tips, so that when we show up with our game face on, and we're prepared to be received. And then some of the simple things you do when you go to present is you want to make it simple. You want to have like your 3 key things you're going to talk about. If it's something small like this, we only have 5 minutes. It's actually harder to do a presentation in a smaller amount of time, because you got to really dial in your stuff. But it's great because it helps you sharpen those skills so you do a better job. So some key things in preparing before you tell them what you're going to tell them is know your audience. For example, if we're going to BNI, we have certain things that we're doing here. It's a group that's a safe place. We get to know, like, and trust each other. We get to share a little bit about ourselves. But when we're presenting, you always want to, it's hard to learn from a presenter if you don't know anything about that presenter. So you've got to come up to a level with your audience. And so there's a couple ways of doing that. One, you're going to want to dress the part for when you're presenting, depending on who your audience is. Great job, you're wearing a shirt that represents your business. I know SOCOM, he does that as well. Or scrubs, I call them work pajamas, but they still represent an authority about something in the healthcare field. I would hope that when we're coming to BNI, if somebody's speaking, that they're either wearing the stuff that represents their business or they're dressed a little bit equal to or above the audience, because you're going to be leading in a way. So you want to make sure that you're leading with what you're presenting visually and in your body language. So there's some fun body language things to do. Like, I think that in this setting, you did great, Amber, because you were in the corner where you could project to your audience. The trap of this setting is if we get in the middle, then we're moving back and forth where we have attention and we're ignoring, or they can't even hear us. And then if we can't hear very well, we start to lose our attention to the presenter. So we don't want to be pacing back and forth. This is a really good place to stand in one corner or use the stage. We have this stage here. We should utilize it. It helps us project easier so we don't need a microphone. But if we are going to be down there, we might need some sort of microphone type system. I put some tape down here on the stage because we don't want to pace either. Pacing shows that we're nervous. That's a body language thing of being nervous, and it can be a little distracting. But if you have a place where you stand, present, maybe move a little bit, that kind of breaks it up a little bit. Maybe it's to another topic. Stand, present. It's a little more comfortable for your audience. And for you ladies, I know sometimes ladies get a little uncomfortable. They like to just cross their legs when they're presenting. But you look so strong and sexy when you plant your feet and present. Guys too, of course. So we want to stand and present. It actually is a body language thing when we're leaning a lot like this, that we need to lean on something. We're not as confident in what we're talking about. So make sure your body language says that. With your hands, you don't want to overdo it with your hands, but you do want to keep them moving, or this is a pretty common body language of confidence in what you're doing. Take a minute to look at your audience in the eyes. And if it's a smaller group, try to call people out by name. I'm always impressed with Christopher. He's always dressed sharp. He's working with people's money. He can't come in here in a Bermuda shirt and shorts and command the respect that he needs for dealing with people's money. Same with Kelly. She looks sharp every time she comes in here for what she does for a living. Again, I love work pajamas. They're so comfy. Thought I'd wear a tie today instead of the scrubs. But so body language with your hands, watch that stuff. Hands in the pockets. It shows that we're a little bit less confident. Trying to be cool, we'll do it with the thumb. A little more confident, but it's just better to have your hands out when you can. And instead of pointing at people, try to use that honorific point. In sign language, this is the honorific, like to God or something. But if you're talking to people you respect, point them that way, not this way. So just a couple of little pro tips on some body language. All right, and then, of course, we want to practice our actual language. We don't want to use the bad words when we're public speaking. What are some bad words in public speaking? Yeah, what else?
Filler words.
Filler words. Those are the bad words when we're public speaking, and there's a lot more than we think. Like. This is the generation of like. So the best way to help yourself with these things, what does a football team, what does a coach do with their team when they're going to play an opponent in a week or two? They practice and they watch films. record yourself. This is the best pro tip I could give you. Record yourself audio-wise or video, or practice in the mirror what you're going to present several times before you do it. Now you're going to see your body language where you can start saying, oh, if I'm going to do something that's more heartfelt, touch your heart when you're talking to somebody. Look them in the eyes like, this is really important that you get this message that I want to share, rather than just using random body language. Practice using it so it communicates what you're trying to do there. So we talked about image, talked about body language, talked about the right language, like, so, you know. Watch those things. But you don't know when you're doing it. When you're in the heat of the moment doing a presentation, especially if we didn't prepare in advance, we're kind of like fogged over, just trying to get our message out there. So to record it and review it later, you can really learn a lot to sharpen your skills for the next time. Pretty powerful stuff. So then, what you got to do when you prepare is keep it simple, and just know you're going to tell them something. You're going to share something, but you want to make it absorbable. That's why it wants to be fun. So tell them what you're going to tell them. We're going to talk about public speaking today. It's just going to take a few minutes. We're going to go over some body language stuff. It's going to be amazing. I hope you get some great tips. Then tell them what you're going to tell. So tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them what you told them. That's your summary where you're done. Okay. So if we sum up something quick, then we're giving them the meat and potatoes using our body language. Remember to use our body language. When you're telling them the meat and potatoes, make sure that you're using testimonials, stories. We respond well to stories because now we can personalize with that person or that example. Use show and tell. That was another great one that she did today. She brought out her products and we're all, well, what's that product? Well, that worked for my wood floors. It helps draw us in so it makes more of a personal contact or personal connection. We have some show and tell. Another one's called the valley. And depending on your time, you may not have time to do this, but the valley is where when you're introduced as a presenter, people don't know you usually. And somebody maybe will introduce you. That it kind of helps take people into the valley of, well, who's this person and how am I going to relate to them? Because they're a stranger on the stage. So you tell a story about yourself, maybe something that helps humanize you of a struggle you went through, and then come back up, because now the audience latches on, oh, they are just like me. And then you come up to where you're bringing them to how this product or service has helped you in your life and how it's your mission to help somebody grow from that. You've brought them from the valley with you up to what you're trying to then present. Does that make sense? Have you ever? Okay, so that's a good thing to use. So those are some great tips for public speaking. I hope that you can benefit from these. In our group, we've got such a great group. I love the warmth and the inviting atmosphere that we have here. But just each week when we're rotating through, we want to be really on point. So as a BNI presentation, what's the key thing we're doing with our presentation? What's the purpose of a BNI presentation? 5 minutes. What is it? Referrals. So our key thing is to educate each other how to refer to us. And it's not selfish because we're going to take turns doing that. Later we're going to learn, okay, so today it's all about me teaching you how to refer to me. And next week it's Christopher, and Christopher's going to teach me how to refer to him. So we really only take a little bit of sharing about us, little tidbits. We don't want to go too deep into us. A little bit to make that connection, maybe that valley. And then please keep it short, sweet, and simple in how we can help refer to you. I'm Dr. Jay Shetlin. Hope that was beneficial today.
Yeah. Great.